Okay, folks, I was on the road all day yesterday, driving down to Washington, D.C., and it was just nightmare traffic. Normally, I would leave at like 3 o'clock in the morning, but with my daughter, that was completely impossible. So I left during normal hours and took 8 hours to get down here. So I did not have access to the screen most of the day. So let's begin. And I'm gonna start off right now. I would strongly suggest, if you're only going to catch a couple of minutes of this, stick around for bond yields and the utility trade. So Fed rate hike probabilities now down to a third for September, October, remain below 50, December, 67.6% probability of a hike. So the trend is clear, it's defined, they're moving lower. The Fed's balance sheet last week rose again. So, Warsh, BS artist, we're going to reduce the balance sheet. This is a couple of months ago now, and Fed's balance sheet is higher. Highest it's been since March of 2025. Thank you, Warsh. Valuations, second highest level since the financial crisis. Nothing's changed there, except we've gone up higher. Yield curve. The spreads between 2s and 10s are widening out. That means yields on the higher end of the curve are going up. Shorter end of the curve, where a lot of institutional money has been loving for the past, 10 years, because they're getting paid big premium, big interest on short-term risk. That's slowly but surely going away. Participation. Now, this matters here. We're going to talk about the QQEW versus QQQ in a moment. NASDAQ stocks trading above their 50-day moving average, up by 13. That's a big, big move at 65. So while I want to come on here and say that you got every reason in the world to fade this market, we have a broadening market up by two on Friday. We're at the highest level here in, I don't know. Let's go. We got to go back to the weekly chart. April of 26, QQQ. We closed just off of weekly resistance. The question is, do we break out or do we break down? Volume, very, very light, declining sequentially. That's a problem. Review closed off slightly on the day on Friday, but note, we had a breakout out of this triangle formation. Retest on Thursday, no follow through on Friday, has been light. Let's face it, up, down, light. Summer doldrums. Now the QQEW, different ball of wax here, up 2.66%, new all-time record highs. See what I mean by the broadening out of participation? It's not Mag 7. We need to go back here, go back to the weekly chart. QQQ up only 1.11%. QQEW up more than twice as much. Mag down 1.27% last week. Sector rotation. Let's go daily view. Daily view, it too closed down on Friday, a bit more than the Qs. Light volume, but take note of Thursday's volume, above average. Small caps, new all-time highs last week. Volume declining sequentially. The banks, very strong week, no new weekly higher highs, but a strong week. Volume is very light. So with the banks, I want to go over to yields. Now, the bond price, bearish key reversal, bond yield, bullish key reversal. Not just that. You go to the daily chart. Look at this breakout on Friday. When I saw this, when I got in last night, I was like, if I would have saw this while I was stuck in traffic, in DC traffic, I would have bailed on the utilities. So with that, because we know they trade inversely, that's the why. Here are the utilities. Great bearish, great bullish key reversal last week. Volume was very good. So the question I have to ask myself here, now that I'm kind of debating it, is are we seeing, let's go to Staples for a moment. I'll explain the logic in a moment. XLP, yeah, very good price action here. What we may be seeing are, I should say, are institutional investors saying, you know what, damn the torpedoes on yields right now. I want a safe haven and money rotated into consumer staples. That's your classic play. And you also saw, despite the fact that we had very bullish price action on yields, bearish price action on bonds, a bullish reversal bar on the utilities. Now let's go to the daily chart. Now, I don't think we just go a straight shot up higher. If they gap us up on Monday, I'm out because I want to see a pullback and a retest because that bond yield has me concerned. We have profits here. It's a fairly decent sized position right now. So I would rather make those profits real, look for a higher low, get smaller if yields are going to be strong. If the setup is here and you have a flight to safety trade, ignoring the rise in yields, I don't want to be that big. I'll play the game, I'll trade along with it, but I don't want to be that big because eventually there's going to be a rug pull. You're going to have a normalization. Now the semis on the week. Remember, we spoke about this price action last weekend. We were happy not to be short of the semis any longer. We had a breakout. Last week, a continuation move up higher. Volume was weak. That does not rule out we cannot excuse me. That does not rule out that we cannot pull back and do a retest here. Let's go daily view, see how they did it on Friday. A down day, stuck at the 50-day moving average. Down volume, very, very light. Let's see how they close them out. 30-minute view. No, I'm going to go 60-minute first. Pretty good. Pretty good close. 30-minute, pretty good close. As for software, attempted breakout, it was rejected. Volume is good here. Let's go daily view. Not a good day on Friday. All right, so no compelling reason to get involved here yet. LABU, weekly view, new weekly higher highs. Reversal week, though. Let's go daily. First, let's check out volume. Light, as I figured. Do we have a setup here to go adding more? We do. Quite possibly. As I always like to say, when we near all-time highs, the test is always at the top. We know exactly where we need to stop out, right below that 260 mark. We don't want to see a new daily lower low here. I'm okay with adding. I don't like the way this ended out here. That's the OCD in me. Okay, so I'm willing to add here, but add more on a rally and a close above 290, 293.50. And then, man, we clear this 339 mark. We're going a lot higher. Again, folks, notice what's doing well. It's not Mag 7. There are concerns out there about Mag 7. Just look at the credit default swaps, especially on Oracle. Emerging markets doing good. Dollar was weak. Energy, what a mind-blowing week this was. Wow, up 7.67%. I haven't looked at the news yet today. Just got back from the gym. I'm not seeing much here whatsoever on the news front, except for domestic stuff. Crude prices moved up 5.35%. But the chart of energy is far more bullish. That tells me that distillates, I don't know if they have home heating oil. No. Gasoline, yes. Let's see what's going on here. Not that much different this is a long shot. Not that much different from crude oil. No chart of diesel. Oil, not much happening. Daily view, volume pretty light on Friday. Not much to talk about. FLNG, what a comeback. You remember earlier in the week, I was really, really concerned. Frank was good enough to point out that they had been dropped from an index. My comment was, it doesn't matter to me all that much. That was a silly reason to go dumping these shares. And this is a tell and a half. The fact that they bid these shares to close back up above the support level. These shares are going up. Let's go daily view. That's the monthly view by accident. Very bullish stuff here. Very, very bullish. If I did not have a position, would I buy here? Absolutely. Absolutely. This is what I would do. 'Cause I know the question was asked last week. And since the shares were breaking down at the time, I was more concerned with possibly exiting the position were we to break down below certain support levels. If we close above $34 a share, my apologies. I'll move this. Looks like a 4, but it's not. $31 per share. Actually, 31.25 to be specific. I'm a buyer. Gold rallied right up and into its 50 and 20-day moving, 20-week moving averages. Let's go daily view. Good price action here. The dollar broke down last week. Yen was weak. Euro was strong. Euro makes up 55% of the Dixie basket. Therefore, dollar weakness is probably on the horizon. The yen, you have our own treasury buying yen to defend it, to avoid the Japanese from dumping our own treasuries and rising yields here. So I think we have a floor on yen. Euro looks like it wants to go up. Therefore, dollar down. Nugget down weak. Let's go to the day. Up day on Friday. A little bit of a fade. I'm going to skip all these. They all look the same to me right now. All right, SPCE finished the week up. This is a tell, and I'll tell you why. They were supposed to launch in Q4 of this year. They punted to February of next year. And it appears as though it was expected because we managed to close the week up. Here's the daily view. Really nice day on Friday. This is a middle finger to bears. This is very bullish. I think we go up higher. CSGP, we rallied here 7% last week. They report, no, I think it's AS. I think AS reports on the 18th. Good day here. Good week, I should say. Daily view. Down day on Friday. How was the volume? Pretty light. Let's go 30-minute view. Do we add more? No. I don't like that. I don't like to close it all. So we'll watch. ConAgra. Very, very good week last week. Up 3.38%. This is the staples play, folks. There's a flight to safety trade going on. Amerisports got hammered on the week. Daily view. We were trading right at that support level. So how was the volume on the week? Pretty heavy. All right, so warning flag on the track here. Amerisports. They do report on the 18th. Nike down in the week as well. So not a good weekend. Not a good week for the sneaker business. Daily chart down day. Leave it off with REM. The fact that this is breaking out with yields rising, very bullish stuff. Again, if there's anything that you want to take away from this week's commentary, we have sector rotation out of mags, not so much into semis, although semis were up, but into names that nobody really cares about except for us. That's it, folks. Have a great weekend. Talk to you hopefully on Sunday Night Futures Live if I can get out of here quickly enough. I'll talk to you soon. Be well.